Indigenous people, shine your light, we are equal.
I've been raised here pretty much on this piece of land all my life here. I've grew up here.
I remember the days when being Indian was lethal. Yeah, we had a rough past, but get ready for the sequel.
Why haskell holly squeezkalchen?
Hey, how y'all doing? Enough work for today.
My goodness, that's delicious. The first protest I went to was in OK Falls in probably 1973. I left high school, hitchhiked over there. It was like, whoa, what's going on? Hey, how are you doing? We're all more like visiting and people we hadn't seen for a while. So we didn't really have a clue what we were doing. It was more excitement than anything. I've only got scared a few times. But why is the fear? Why do you guys hate us so much? It feels like hatred. When you feel racism, it feels like hatred. Why do you hate us? Is it because you stole my grandpa's land and you still haven't paid for it? Or have you stole all the land and you still haven't settled with us, right? You know, learn your goddamn history. You know, you people come here, you take things all the time, man. You take the loaf of bread and you leave me all the crumbs in the bag, and then you expect us all to live off the crumbs. Oh, you just call us lazy and drunken Indian. You have no idea what we're going through. My house is worth probably $800,000. I can't even go borrow money on it. It's not even my house. The king owns my goddamn house. And taking our kids away from us, like, you know, all the time. I was just looking at that. There's 63% kids in foster care in British Columbia. That's because the kids from residential schools are trying to learn how to be a parent. You didn't have any support. You're getting raped, beaten, and whipped in residential school. You come out, you can't have a conversation because you don't know how to start a conversation. You don't know how to deal with all this manifested internal oppression that we do to each other. That whole system was designed to mess us up. In 2016, we were sitting around a table. They start putting these maple leaves on TV, 150-year birthday. Oh, Canada's so wonderful. We can't let these guys just have a friggin' party and eat cake. Right? So how do we get involved? The Rethink 150 was like, okay, we put an art expedition together. I thought it was very professionally done and everything, how we did it. And there's a lot of people who were paying attention to it, right? But then the birthday party was over and everybody went about their life again. There's a few people that are very kind and thoughtful people. They do want to see such things right. The people that are guarding the land and are living on the land and benefiting from the land, they don't want to share. It's always been about the land, nothing else. It's all about the resources in the land, and it's all about the land. They want to put our kids into school so that they can become just like them, so we can do the work 9 to 5, all working for that car we drive. That's what they want. So what if we change that? What if we had enough capital operating money to do the things that we needed to do? What if we didn't have to follow Indian Affairs rules and regulations? What if we were still protected by our own governance and laws so that we wouldn't lose our land? And what if the bands and communities got together? What if everybody forgot about the territorial splits and the overlaps and everything? What else? We just said, okay, we're all going to agree to this is what we're going to do. What if that happened? This is a long-term project. It's been going on for 2017 or 2018. It came from when I was farming, when I was a kid. And it's just now revitalized. This is a legacy project for me. This is all about leaving stuff behind, right? Yeah. But I think connecting onto the ground and to the land and being part of it, right? And leaving something back, people can eat potatoes, people can eat strawberries, raspberries. Those kind of things are really important. And to bring us together, right? Because at least here we get the sensation that we're actually doing something, right? We see the posts go in, we see the wire go up, we see the cement trucks the other day. Actually see something being done. Is to reconnect the community. That's I think, if we can do some of that, then we got COVID, we got Saul, we got Joseph. There's 3 of our community members now working here. So that's a start, right? The weeds are getting big. And then pretty soon, if I don't do anything, they're going to take over. Just like the settlers.
So beautiful. I love this property. I really don't know why those white people didn't grab it when they could.
When they could, right? Because my grandpa was a real son of a gun, huh? He threatened to kill you.
Love the land.
Love the land. That's right. Good one. Cut.
Yeah, we had a rough past, but get ready for the sequel. Get ready for the glorious comeback of our people. Oh, yeah. Rise up, all you warriors of love, all you answers to the prayers of our ancestors from above. I can feel it in my heart.
My Indian name is Inipoka. It means buffalo child. And that comes from my dad's people, which are the Siksika people of Siksika, the Blackfoot people. Ispuplimsel Kikenmut. Where I live is where the trees are in a line.
Like my mom was born in like a little shack, but like she grew up like dirt poor. They were like really, really poor. Living on a ranch like definitely teaches you work ethic and responsibility, gives you purpose. My mom was an engineer, so I mean she had like good paying jobs, but she was a single mom, raising 3 of us and then eventually 4 of us. She gave us what she could, which was a lot. Privilege. We live in a capitalistic society. Like, you need to get paid.
I do think that the government is still looking for ways to completely assimilate us. They're still trying to colonize us to this day and take our lands. They're trying to take whatever we have left. Prior to white people coming here, we never did own the land. A Eurocentric value. We were just placed here to take care of it. We were semi-nomadic, moving with the seasons, moving with the animals, the berries, the climate. Very difficult to come to terms with the reality that is now being placed upon us. It doesn't align with our morals, and it doesn't align with our hearts and like our spirits. There's a lot of problems, not knowing who you are, not speaking your language, not being able to speak your language, not knowing where you come from, the land you come from, and the stories behind it. That all holds so much power. It's more than just knowledge. It's it's like a piece of the puzzle. You now know a little more about yourself. It's a part of my identity. It's just a part of my existence, I guess. You look at how the environment, you look at the climate, things are kind of getting wonky out there, and then you start to look at the people, and again, it's the reflection. The people are the reflection of the land that they're in, and that's where that culture comes from. And it's the culture right now is kind of whack. It's crazy. We're kind of getting a little too wicked. As soon as I started going back to my roots, I started to grow more, and my roots were more secure. I started finding that source. I went back to source. Riding a horse is crazy. It's almost that flow state. When you do those things, you enter into the flow state. All knowledge comes from the land. It comes from here. The language comes from the land. Our teachings come from the land. We've watched the animals. We learn from the animals. We learn from the land. We learn from the beings that are older than this. It's beyond what you can imagine. And it's a lot of these, it's never gone, Knowledge is infinite. Love is infinite. And culture is infinite.
Feel it in my heart, can you feel it in your blood? I can hear the seventh fire calling us to wake up, wake up. All nations rise up, 'cause now's your time. We don't have...
Well, I mean, I live
horse culture is medicine. You know, going like from grief and loss and going back to horses to struggling with addiction and going back to horses. And it's like, it's in my DNA. Allowing me to be my 100% authentic self without being judged. That's what I get. So I don't want to ruin your pastures, that's for sure.
Okay, well, let's go have a look down.
Okay. Like a round grill?
Yeah.
You can have 35 to 60 feet. 40 is nice. For Winston, I don't think it's going to be very long. He has the trust in people, like he knows that we're not going to hurt him. I'm very adamant on groundwork because it all starts from the ground up. I think it'll be very interesting to watch Winston and just him developing the confidence that he doesn't really know that he needs.
Yes.
Good boy. Oh, you little shit.
Well, no.
Good boy. He was like, what was that?
I will leave the road now.
Yeah. That I got in contact with Teresa was actually, I always call my vet, Dave Ward, who is always like, stop calling me about wild horses. It was Boxing Day. I get a call from actually one of my kids' friends' parents saying there's a horse stuck in my fence in my backyard. What do I do? Like, who do I call? And I was like, you call me. And then he's like, can you come? And I was like, I'll be there in 5 minutes. I get there, we get this horse out of the situation, but it's way worse than I expected. And I called Dave twice and he's like, you know who you can call that will really help you and continue to help you with these situations was Teresa Nolette. It was like my prayers have been answered, honestly. Like the way that you guys responded to this call and helped me try to save this horse. I was doing a lot of it on my own, and it was hard. Like, it was very defeating. So to have you guys come and be there for me in the time of, you know, that horse needing us and you saying the things you said when we did lose her. You know, she wasn't alone. She was surrounded with love, and I felt it.
She's been a catalyst.
Yeah, for sure. We kind of discussed about not talking about, you know, my backstory and the trauma, but I feel like it's important because it made me who I am, and the horses really helped through it. I'm just over a year sober of drugs and alcohol, and like, I mean, marijuana, not like hard drug. I had a buckskin stallion named Happy Joe Easter. I was so proud to ride that horse through our reserve, through these trails that we're actually on now. My brother passed away on New Year's of '06. So my brother passed away, and then 28 days later, Happy got hit. So it was very hard, and I turned to alcohol as a coping mechanism. And I struggled with that for about, I'd say, 17 years. We were out at an event, and I came home, and I remember my son being like, last night was the first time I saw you drunk. And it really hit me. And I was like, right there, I was like, and you're never gonna see me like that again. And that's pretty much the time I put it down, and there's no attempt to pick it up again, you know? So, yeah. The way that I protect my kids from intergenerational trauma is not drinking, being proud of who we are and where we come from, being on the land and around horses, and giving respect to wildlife and allowing them to be their authentic selves, and trying not to shut them down in their own beliefs, you know, as little 8 and 9-year-olds. And that's the work that I do with my kids. My goal, my vision, which I share with some band members out here, is to have a facility for kids and youth and adults that can come and just be around horses and experience, you know, what I've experienced. To get a wild horse and have it well enough to deal with kind of young, and it would be a good six months to, you know, a year before it would be an open to the public facility, from starting from ground zero, I think.
Calling us to wake up, wake up. All nations rise. Rise up, 'cause now's your time. We don't have to hide anymore, 'cause now's the time. All nations rise. Rise up, 'cause now's your time. We don't.
I've been on council for 17 years. 9 years as a councillor and 8 years as the chief of the Penticton Indian Band. What I'd like to see is people not being afraid to ask questions, even if they're silly. And I hope that our Indigenous nations and people don't get offended, because there's a lot of, if you don't know, you don't know. For many years, Canada has been hiding our existence and not wanting to talk about who we are. But I'm hoping that people want to, if they want to learn and want to know about the Okanagan people, ask good questions. You know, I always joke with our ladies out here in the community, in our nation, because they're like, you know, decolonize, and this is a joke, and they're gonna get mad at me for saying this, but I have to say this, especially on the camera, because it is, and I'd say, yes, I want to have 5 wives, and they're like, whoa, we're not gonna go that far, you know, forget that, you know. And I was like, what, you want to go back 500 years ago? That was, you know, you got to go all the way, you can't go halfway. And they get mad at me, so mad at me for saying that. That was a part of our reality back in the day, and we can't forget that either. We have to set our limits on how we want to go back, because we want to decolonize, we want to come back, we want to have that pride back. We also have to know and acknowledge at least how we did it and how we survived. Old laws, the Indian Act, it's very racist. And it's enacted right now as we speak. I don't hear about complaints about it anymore. When I was in leadership, I was like, well, hey, there's 5 of you that are super smart, rewrite it, give me a copy, and I'll go to Ottawa, I'll go to United Nations, wherever. I haven't seen one copy of something that we've been complaining about for many years to say, here's what we want. I'm scared of us living in poverty and having in poverty minds. I'd rather see businesses out here and us creating our own businesses, and our band members creating their own businesses and empowering themselves to do something, instead of falling back into that that vicious cycle. You just got to start from somewhere, and you got to start thinking about what else can we do. The only thing that we had going was a gravel pit that wasn't making any money. We had to diversify that. So today we're the largest trucking company in the South Okanagan. We have the biggest gravel company, the biggest rock jaw in the South Okanagan. We've created a utilities company, and we have a forestry company now. We have ecotourism with Coyote Cruises. It's going to take a lot of courage, and it's going to take a lot of hard work for us to sit down in the same room, not at the table. We need to get in the room first. And when we all get in the room and then actually start sitting at the table and actually coming up with a game plan that we're actually comfortable with, then we'll move forward. My medicine is riding mountain bikes and hiking.
Yeah, we had a rough past, but get ready for the sequel. Get ready for the glorious comeback of our people. Oh, yeah. Rise up, all you warriors of love, all you answers to the prayers of our ancestors from above. I can feel it in my heart. Can you feel it in your blood? I can hear the seventh fire calling us to wake up, wake up. All nations rise. Rise up, 'cause now's your time. We don't have to hide anymore, 'cause now's the time. All nations rise, rise up, 'cause now's your time. We don't have to hide anymore, 'cause now's the time.